Hey everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Irit. I'm an intuitive mixed media artist from Austria in Europe, and on my channel I share all of my artsy adventures. And today I have something a little bit different. It has to do with some organization, which is really not my strong suit. In the last months I've been a bit more exposed to information about ADHD. Now, I haven't been officially diagnosed, I haven't gone to any professional, but from reading about the different forms that it can take, especially in women, I suspect that I have certainly certain personality traits of people with ADHD, and I have been trying to organize my environment in a way that will still be tidy, because when things get too messy, it does cause me certain levels of anxiety, and especially if my creative space is too messy, it doesn't really allow me to feel very relaxed and kind of get into that creative zone. So really in the last years, I have tried to declutter the art supplies that don't work for me, and then for the ones that I keep, try to create systems that allow me to see what I have, which is really important to me, because if things are hidden away in boxes, in closets, behind doors, I will forget that they're there, or I will not go through multiple steps to take out what I need. That is just how I work. So today I want to show you how I reorganized my RÅSKOG trolley from Ikea before I get another waterfall of comments from North American peeps who know the shop as Ikea. The name is Ikea. It comes from Sweden, and in Europe and in Sweden we call it Ikea because that's how it's pronounced. So I know you pronounce it differently in the US. I'm not here to tell you you should change the way you pronounce it, but the original name is Ikea. I have a couple more videos about IKEA solutions for artists, so if you're interested in that, check it out. I want to tell you about the RÅSKOG. I have spoken about it in previous videos, and I love it, and I don't love a couple of aspects of it. I think it's fantastic, and I love the being able to move it around, kind of push it aside when I don't need it and then pull it to me when I do. That's definitely a plus. The top area, that is prime real estate, and if organized correctly, it can be a really great place to store certain art supplies. My problem is with the bottom two levels of that trolley. They are a bit hard to get into. Okay, so here I have the top level currently on my RÅSKOG, which I recently organized. I hope this will work, but I still can't tell you that it does. Now, what I have here are my most used favorite acrylic paints. And you can see I have different brands here. Now, what I added to my organizational system are these paint swatches. So you can see that every paint has the color on the top. And the reason is that I noticed when I had these in a container, I had to like rummage through the tubes to see the color. And of course, a lot of them have, like, you can see the color through the packaging. Also in this brand, which is my favorite, the Flash paints. I've been seeing more and more people on YouTube like getting these and swatching these, and I'm really happy because I think they're amazing. I have videos dedicated to them, but you can see the color here, but somehow that is not really satisfying to me, and my brain needs a better demonstration of the color. So that's why I just took with my finger, you can use like a sponge or a brush, and just like rubbed some of the paint on the caps. And this way, when they are stored with the cap facing upward, I don't have to rummage through anything. Now, if I had them stored like this, I wouldn't be able to see the color because the top has this packaging. So they really need to be stored with the cap facing up so that I can see it. And you can also see that this is arranged again by colors. Now I have some little tubes that need a little bit help standing up. So they're in just this like super old plastic container that I've had. And then again, the jars, again, if they were not on my desk as I was painting, I would have to like lift them. And if they were like stacked, then I would have to really like go through it to kind of lift them and see the color, because the top was just like the white cap. So that's why I added swatches also to these jars. And this way, in a glance, I can see the color. Yeah, and then I have some Holbein paints, which I really, really love. They're luminous paints. My current preference, formula-wise, is hands down the flash paints. But they have a nice color range, but of course it's not perfect and they don't have all of my like perfect colors. So I do have to add in a few other brands. The idea is also, as I said, I just kind of set it up. So you can see I have here like a few multiples. One of my goals is not to buy things that I already own or buy, you know, the same color from different brands. That is a mistake that I've made so many times during the years of expanding my art collection. If you're like me, you're drawn to colors and you're drawn to like the same colors, and then you find you have the same color or similar in different brands. So I'll probably, after a little bit of painting, like in the next week, I'll probably get rid of, for sure, one of these. For now, you know, until I run out of it, and then maybe I can move to the next tube. So that is the top tier that I have here, and we'll see how it works for me. I will keep you updated. Okay, let's get into the second level. The second level I find is the most annoying one. You really have to, I feel like, have either things that are small and kind of easy to take out. But the problem is that, for example, if you have like a bunch of bottles like this, if they are paint, you won't necessarily see the color. And then if there's something else, again, you won't see the label. So what I have done, this is not like rocket science. I didn't invent the wheel, but for some reason I haven't done it till now. That's what I did yesterday. So I added on the top of the containers what this is, because, you know, I have a bunch of these and you can't really tell what they are unless you pull them out. And that additional step is time, like it's wasted time, it's annoying, and many times I just won't bother doing it. So I have here heavy gel, medium matte. These are not things that I use often. It's nice to have them on hand. So again, this is all kind of a work in progress, and I'm going to see what works for me. Here I have a bottle of gesso that is almost out, so I want to get through that. And then here I have, for example, the Daniel Smith Gold Gesso, which is beautiful. I'll show it to you so you can also appreciate it. Isn't that pretty? It is lovely. If you haven't tried it, and you like gold, which I do, you really should. And I'll show you actually a piece that I made. This is following a tutorial by Dreama Perry, and this is prepped with gold gesso. So it's really cool because you can kind of see it just like peeking through behind the paint. This is painted with oils, and I just think it's so pretty. So I want to use that more. Hopefully this will help me to do that. So this is this side, but this will probably be more in the back. On this side, I have some large containers of paint, which, again, I have to see. I'm not sure I'm going to use them. For example, I have here two blues from Lucas, indigo and Prussian blue, which I do have in tubes, but I'm almost out of the tube. So once I'm out of that, I will move on to this. Again, here you can see the color, but I don't know, something in my brain is not satisfied with seeing the color through the plastic. So I usually find myself still kind of swatching it or testing it to see if it's actually the color that I need. And that's why I added here swatches. Now, some of these colors like indigo, I'm very, very familiar with it. So I don't need to remind myself of how it looks. But then a few other ones that I just haven't used this particular formula or this particular shade from this brand often. It just helps me, like gives me a reminder of how they look, you know, how opaque they are, how bright, and that's why I added here. And I also wrote the color. This also helps me when I'm making videos, and you know, I don't have to necessarily look at the little label. And again, here we have gesso, and here is just this actually paint that I probably need to open, because this is another thing. If it's not open, you know, this type of packaging from Lucas, you have to cut the top of this bottle, and then you have this cap that you add on top, as you can see. So right now I have another liquid white that I'm using, but yeah, if I want to use it, I have to get it open. Otherwise, this is an extra step that would keep me from using this. And then in the back, I have super heavy gesso. Here I have black gesso. These are not things that I use super often, so I'm okay with them. And then a couple of things in the back. What are you? Oh, this is like a fixative. I should probably, again, label it. But yeah, that is the second level, which is kind of the most annoying real estate area of the RÅSKOG in my personal experience. And if you're wondering about the color, this was black, and I spray painted it with this beautiful lilac color, which I absolutely love. Okay, let's talk about the bottom shelf. What I have here are watercolor palettes that I am happy to share with my daughter. I'm saying daughter, I have two, but the older one doesn't really paint with watercolors, so it's mostly the 7-year-old. And I just don't want her in my most expensive artist grade paint. I just don't feel it's justified, especially when I have so many other great options that are more affordable. So I've had these palettes here for a couple of years now, and it's great. When she comes over, I just pull them out. But I didn't know what was in them, and every time, like, I couldn't remember, and every time I would have to like take them and open them and remind myself. And so I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Of course, you can use like a label maker. I have one that I absolutely love, but for some reason I didn't use it. So I just wrote here on the sides what is in there. These have Van Gogh watercolors, which are lovely and very, very affordable, and I would say they're even like too nice to use with kids. But I have these, and yeah, so these are like an example of a paint that I really enjoy also painting when I'm painting with my daughter. And then I have another set with White Nights pastel paints, and then I have some metallic watercolors, and this converted pencil case from Prima actually has gouache paints, but I know this because I've had this for such a long time and I've used it so many times. So this one I didn't have to mark, but these all kind of look the same kind of tin. And then on the other side, I have, again, some watercolor sets that I use with Lily, my daughter, and I'll just show you. This is not, this doesn't have to do with organization, but it's just sets that work well, I think, for kids. This is an old set from Alta New. I probably got this because I was a part of their like affiliate and design team sometimes. And this just has the most beautiful colors. These are not artist grade, and a lot of them are like opaque, and a lot of them are specialty colors. And I'm pretty sure that all of them have like a bunch of pigments, maybe even like dye based. So I definitely wouldn't recommend this as like your main set if you are serious about painting with watercolors. But for painting with your kids, and it's just like a great set. So I don't know if this one is still available, but we have greatly enjoyed it. And then I have a couple of sets which I'm a little bit ambivalent about from Koi. These are, I think, super popular. And I don't really love them. So this one is like the specialty paints. It has like some iridescent paints and some neon paints. Yeah, I don't know. I use it with my kids. It's great for using it with them. And then I have another larger set that, again, I sometimes will pull out for kids. I really don't care what happens to these paints, so I dedicate them to my girls and their friends. And this is another super popular set that you can find on Amazon. These are the Pretty Excellent Watercolors, or I don't know, they have different names. You can see this set has been used and loved. Great range of colors, very intense. Again, I have no idea what's in this, if it's pigment-based or dye-based or both of them, no clue. But it's a great set for playing around with watercolors or using with your kids. So that's what I have here. This lives in like actually this plastic box, which you can take out. It just keeps things a little bit more tidy than if they were in this. Like directly in the trolley. So that's why I like the box, but it's not like super necessary, but it works well for me. So that is it with my new setup. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.